Transformation for the charity to philanthropy, Mohammad Zia-ul-Haq, प्रेसिडेंट हैं सलीमा खानम वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन के। आपसे दरख्वास्त है कि सर आप जो है वो तशरीफ़ लाइए और अपनी जो है इस फाउंडेशन के हवाले से चीज़ों के बारे में प्रेजेंट कीजिए। थैंक यू।
It's both an honor and moment of deep reflection for me to address you today. My journey into the world of charity and philanthropy formally began in 2012 when Salima Khanum Welfare Foundation was incorporated, and I was entrusted with the role of Senior Vice President at that time. Since then, what began as a passion for community service has evolved into a purposeful pursuit of innovation in philanthropy, seeking not only to serve but to transform. In the past decade, I have devoted considerable effort to learning how compassion, when coupled with strategy, knowledge, and innovation, can become a powerful tool for lasting social impact. In this journey, I have come across numerous global resources, platforms, and models that can be harnessed to enhance our philanthropic work here in Pakistan. One of the core realizations I have come to is this: we must shift our focus increasingly from charity to philanthropy. While charity offers momentary relief, philanthropy paves the way for sustainable empowerment. We must help people not merely survive but thrive, and that requires enabling them to stand on their own feet rather than making them passive recipients of aid. However, whether we are working in charity or philanthropy, we must acknowledge that times have changed, and so must our methods. Fundraising today is no longer limited to door-to-door campaigns or donation boxes. The digital age and artificial intelligence offer powerful tools to tell our stories, mobilize support, and access global funding opportunities. Leading international donors now operate common resource platforms, grant pools, fellowships, and partnerships that can be tapped by capable and credible NPOs, even from Pakistan. But these resources do not come easily. One must learn the art of preparing a compelling pitch backed by research professionalism and strategic planning. This is why I believe it is high time we create a local platform, a resource forum that educates, trains, and supports non-profit professionals in accessing such international avenues. Pakistan is disproportionately low. It is not due to a lack of need, but often due to lack of access, preparation, and presentation. I am particularly pleased that we are joined today by Colonel Retired Shehzad Amir Saab, the founding CEO of Punjab Charity Commission, a visionary institution. When this commission was first announced, some feared it would add yet another layer of control and bureaucracy. But having observed its role closely, I must say it has proven to be a blessing, bringing structure, credibility, and transparency to the sector. In fact, I foresee a time when it may rightly be called the Punjab Charity and Philanthropy Commission, as it aligns more closely with broader social development roles. It is important here to distinguish between public sector and private sector entities. The Punjab Charity Commission plays a regulatory and facilitative role at the provincial level, while institutions like the Pakistan Center of Philanthropy operate in the private sector with a national scope and differing mandates. Both are essential, and their complementary roles must be supported. Allow me to share a thought that I hold dear. Money is not the only form of charity or philanthropy. Sharing your time, your knowledge, your skills, or even responsibly recycling materials for the benefit of less privileged can be equally valuable. Used clothes, surplus food, scrap hardware, or electronics, if managed properly, can generate tremendous resources. But again, this requires training, preparedness, and a mindset shift. Another critical issue we must urgently address is preserving the dignity of those we aim to serve. This Ramadan, our foundation took a bold step by conducting a social experiment to reshape how charity is delivered. Instead of making underprivileged families wait in long queues, often under public scrutiny and emotional distress for grocery handouts. We introduced a voucher system. These vouchers were redeemable at designated supermarkets, allowing families to walk in with pride, shop with their loved ones, and choose items based on their actual needs. The feedback was profoundly moving. A simple shift in approach turned a charitable act into a dignified and empowering experience. It is important to clarify that this was not an indiscriminate giveaway. Our dedicated volunteers worked diligently to identify genuinely deserving families, those who quietly suffer and whose self-respect prevents them from participating in chaotic and often dehumanizing ration distributions, where some items may not even be of use to them. We must also acknowledge an uncomfortable reality. It is now well documented that a significant portion of traditional ration bags often finds its ways back to grocery stores for resale, exchange for cash, rather than being used. A similar trend exists with sacrificial meat during Eid al-Adha. In major cities like Karachi and Lahore, temporary meat markets appear during these 3 days of festival, where donated meat is sold, sometimes ending up in restaurants or meat processing units and at throwaway prices. This commercialization strips the act of its intended spirit of sacrifice and compassion, calling for a serious rethinking of how we carry out our charitable traditions. Likewise, we must rethink how food support is distributed. The image of people sitting on footpaths or lying in parks waiting for food handouts is not only unhygienic and disorganized, it is also demoralizing. Worse, we are inadvertently creating a cycle of dependency and inactivity where individuals adjust their lives around free meal times, causing workplace disruptions and social imbalance. Imagine if we could instead issue pre-screened food vouchers redeemable at local eateries or food stalls. This could lead to the rise of low-cost food chains similar to Meals on Wheels in Australia, dignified, hygienic, and sustainable. Funds saved from inefficient food distribution could then be used to support small business initiatives, vocational training, and self-employment models that offer real empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share some crucial observations on the regulatory and compliance landscape affecting charities and not-for-profit in Pakistan, especially the smaller and community-based ones. On the regulatory side, we must prioritize knowledge sharing and awareness training, particularly for new registered or grassroots organizations. Compliance is not merely a formal requirement, it is the foundation of credibility, sustainability, and access to opportunities. It is both beneficial and essential for these organizations to remain in good standing with regulators such as Punjab Charity Commission. This is where we must ask ourselves, what more can we do to build this capacity? I am pleased to ensure you that Salima Khanum Welfare Foundation, in collaboration with Bizcon Associates, stands ready to volunteer its expertise to offer training, orientation, and compliance assistance to smaller NPOs. Together, we can create a support ecosystem that enables sustainable impact. Another critical challenge in the opening of bank accounts for NPOs, particularly for beginners. While branch-level staff are often helpful, approval from higher authorities is not always accessible, leading to unnecessary delays. Moreover, some essential banking services remain restricted for NPOs. These policies deserve serious reconsideration, especially for organizations that are fully compliant with provincial regulations. Historically, the source of funding, especially foreign remittances, has been a matter of concern under the FATF framework. However, with Pakistan now removed from the FATF grey list, there is an opportunity to facilitate registered and compliant organizations, those in good standing. The Punjab Charity Commission should be favorably considered for approvals related to foreign grants and donations. In this regard, it would be immensely helpful if the Punjab Charity Commission could take the initiative to prepare and share comprehensive guidelines with federal bodies such as Economic Affairs Division and State Bank of Pakistan. While these matters fall under federal jurisdiction, our provincial regulators can serve as an effective bridge, providing facilitation, clarity, and support to NPOs navigating this complex process. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, this is a vast and urgent subject, one that requires collective brainstorming, innovation, and bold thinking. We must mobilize our academia, our youth, our professionals, and our NPOs to rethink charity, redefine philanthropy, and reshape our social outcomes. Pakistan may be a global leader in individual charity giving, but we must now lead in strategic giving that empowers, uplifts, and transforms. I am deeply grateful to the Punjab Charity Commission, our partners, and all of you here today for your support, commitment, and patience. Let's take this conversation forward with action, with innovation, and with hope. Thank you very much.